In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the concept of blocks in Reason. Blocks are great ways of composing and arranging songs. You can compose different sections of your song and make copies, rearrange them, overdub on top of them, and really explore different ways of arranging the song you've written. I'm going to start here with a sequence that I've already prepared. You don't have to start with a sequence, of course. You can start with a blank slate. But I'm going to click the Blocks button, and you'll see that I now have two options at the top, Song and Block. By switching to Block, I can now edit my blocks. My sequence is still there, but I'm now in block edit mode. And we have block 1 here, which I'm going to double-click to rename, and I'm going to call it Verse. Now you'll notice in the drop-down I have up to 32 blocks I can work with. Even though there are only 32, which is a lot, we can add variations to each of these blocks very easily. So here's my verse. I have nothing there. And what I'm going to do for simplicity here is I'm going to take some of the material from my sequence and paste it into my block. I can do that using copy and paste, or I could, of course, record into a block, but we're just going to save some time here. I copied the drum, and now I pasted it. So I have an 8-bar Dr. Octarex pattern. I'm going to take my sequence as it exists right now and just move it out of the way. We're going to use that later. So back in block edit mode, we have our pattern, and you'll notice it's 8 bars long. I have an end marker, and I can, of course, change that end marker to make it longer or shorter. Every block can be a different size. The left and the right markers are going to be ignored. So this 8-bar verse is a single block, and I can use it to construct my song by making copies of it and by making variations of it. Let's add a little bit more to our verse, and just to show you that I can record in block edit mode, I'm going to record a Thor bass line. Let's get through this drum pattern once, and then I'll add my bass line. All right, so now my verse block has the Dr. Octarex pattern and a Thor pattern. And let's add one more track. How about the Maelstrom? Okay, that's my verse block. Now let's go ahead and create a bridge block. So from the drop-down, I'll choose block 2. Block 1 goes away. It's still there. But now I'm editing block 2. I'm going to rename it Bridge. And we're just going to do something completely different here. I'm going to copy the clips from the verse and paste them in. Again, I'm just saving time here. And I'll change the pattern to loop 2, but I don't have a second drum beat here, so let's add one. And we'll learn more about the Dr. Octarex later, but what I'm doing here is loading in a second drum pattern, or a pattern into my second slot. Okay, that will do. Flip back to block mode. I'm now showing my loop 2. And then I'm going to take the Thor, get rid of it, and record a new bass line. And like any other clips, I can edit them, resize them, transpose them, quantize them, and everything you'd expect. And the end marker determines how long the block is. If I control-click on the bridge, I can change its color. So I can have different colors for my different sections. So we'll make the verse Kelly Green. All right, back in my song, I see the block lane, but there's nothing on it. That block lane only shows up when I have the Blocks button on. So I'll use the pencil tool, and just like I'm drawing patterns, I draw in a block. It's my verse block. Let's draw in another one. And now using my arrow, just like I change patterns, I can change to a different block. Bridge. And you can see all the ghosted notes below. So my entire block is there, but it's so easy to move these around and rearrange them, as you can see me doing here. Just click and drag. So everything plays back as you would expect. Let's make a copy of this verse. I'll just Option drag it, and that makes a copy. Now let me show you something about looping in blocks. I'll define a 2-bar loop in my verse, turn on looping, but when I go back to my song, if you look in the ghosted notes, you'll see it didn't loop. Well, left and right markers are ignored in your blocks. All that you care about is that end marker. Now let me drag these extra clips out again, because I'm really shortening my verses. If you recall, they were 8 bars, so I can just click and expand them, and the ghosted notes underneath show me what I'm doing. I can expand my bridge too, and if I drag past the end marker, it just makes copies. Let's drag it back to 8 bars, and let's listen to the song as we have it so far. So working with blocks is a lot of fun. You can see how easy it is to construct a song. And we'll learn more about it in the next video.